Hey, Villa family, you're back with two village girls for another eventful week of honest conversation. It's your girl, Angie.
And your girl Serena.
Today, we're here to tell you about having one child versus multiple children.
So first of all, let me start by saying I'm a child. I'm a middle child with three siblings. There's three of us, and I got some feelings about these things.
It's hard. I'm a freaking middle child too, on both my father and my mom's side. So
True.
it's a lot of us. I don't know how many right now, but it's six on my mom's side. I don't really know how many on my father's side, y'all. So and then to be technical, I was only raised with three of my other siblings, so it's only four of us was actually raised together. The other siblings are like older,
Mm-hmm.
different ages, different parents, different households. So, yeah.
All right, let's jump right on in.
So first, we're going to start off with a few stereotypes that are like well known about being the only child, or even with just having siblings all together. I think one big stereotype about either being like the only child or having only one child is like that child being spoiled because if you've been the only child, you're gonna have all the parents' attention. Like it's no distractions. It's just basically just you, and the parents don't have to like split up money to divide between the children.
Mm-hmm.
It can just be just you. Like the focus is just on that one child. So that's one stereotype I know that everybody has heard for.
Of course. And breaking that stereotype, like one of the like things that defy the stereotype is the fact that yes, these children don't have to split attention, but in some cases it doesn't make the child spoiled. It just makes them like more like well-rounded because they have a support system that they
Mhm.
can go to and talk about different things.
And for that close relationship, like with their parents, since it's only them, the parents and that one child, they have that time to focus on that one child and have build that relationship that is needed. And that could be a case that it don't have to be that they're spoiled, just that they have a closer relationship with their parents.
Which is so true.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Another stereotype for like being in a household with more than just one kid is like each child has a designated, like the first child is the responsible one.
Yeah.
The middle child or middle children are the ones that don't get noticed or get less attention. And then the youngest is always the spoiled one
Mm-hmm.
who gets to break all the rules,
Mm-hmm.
which is a huge stereotype because every household is different and so many different like factors play a role in how each child turns out.
Yeah, and part of that stereotype is that like I think I heard that with the first child, it's like brand new, but by the time the second, third, fourth child come, they're more like relaxed, they're more because they already experienced, so they already know what's
Yeah,
happening. So that's another part of that stereotype too.
that firstborn being the practice child
Yeah,
for all the
exactly.
ones to come.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
I've also heard stereotypes that like the first child is always the easiest one and it makes you want a second child, and then the second child comes out and it's completely different than the first child, which I mean from like a teaching perspective it's like no child is the same, you shouldn't
Yeah.
compare the two, but
Yeah, it's just basically that no child is the same. So you try to have the same exact child is not probably gonna happen.
right, believing that stereotype is just like a risk. We wanted to talk to you guys, Villa fam, about this because having one child is one thing, but transitioning your household to having multiple children, whether it's through birth of another child, adoption, or even fostering for a little while, is a transition for parents and it's a transition for the kids as well. So we wanted to just kind of touch on this and highlight like some reasons why this could be stressful for children and why we understand the stress of yourself because it's new.
Yeah.
Until we do it, like trying to prepare for that is going to be a challenge because you don't want to overwhelm yourselves or the child that's already in the household,
Hmm.
but you also want to be prepared.
Yeah. Exactly. A lot of things can be stressful if it's the only child and you are getting ready to have another baby or whatever. Like you have to, prepare your child, the one that's already there. Like
Mm-hmm.
that when a baby comes, like they're gonna have to have a lot of my attention because I'm gonna have to feed them and bathe them. Like babies need that attention when they're babies.
Mm-hmm.
So that type of preparation is needed.
Yeah, I've seen some videos and some talks that are like prepare the current child
Mm-hmm.
by like giving them things like little gifts from the baby saying, hey, this is from your baby sibling, or this is from the new sibling that's coming, and they want you to know they love you and they're excited to meet you.
Yeah, help them. Yeah, it eases them.
Yeah, it gets them excited, like, oh my gosh, they got me this, what else are we gonna do together? Like, there's so many different things. Like, there's a positive to having a new member of the family.
Like showing them that that change is positive, that it can be positive, you know.
Absolutely. Another thing I've seen that I thought was interesting was that when bringing the baby into the household, including that older sibling in like those basic things, so that way they don't feel left out. So like I've seen things about like having your child have a special role in like diaper changing, or a special role when it comes to like feeding the baby. That way they're in the same room as you and they get to see how things work and know that they're still in like included in the family.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are good ideas.
Yeah, they still need that attention too.
Mm-hmm.
They're still gonna be looking for that attention from the parents. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, why not get a little extra help
Yeah.
in addition to including them? Some way that you can like interact with them and have them feel involved with the sibling too. It's not like it's like, hey, you do this while I do this. Like you guys are doing it.
Makes them feel included. I like that actually. I do.
Family bonding at its finest. So when we don't do things like this, like why do we find like kids getting stressed out when it comes to bringing new children into the household? Like why is it stressful for children to like see other siblings coming into the household?
Yeah. No, I feel like mostly it's just like we said already, it's because they was the only one getting that attention they didn't need. They didn't have to worry about sharing that attention with the parent.
So do you think there's a difference between like the transition from only child to two siblings and then bringing in a third or fourth child? Do you think there's still a transition process with introducing more than one child?
Yeah, I feel like it depends on how to process it with bringing in the second child. Like
Mm-hmm.
if the parents were, have including that other child that was scared for the change involved, if they felt like they were involved, then I feel like they would be up to having another child. I mean, having another sibling.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel as though if when the parent had the baby, that second child, and didn't show the first child any attention, anything, I feel like they will still have that stress, like, oh, another baby's coming, like, okay, more attention away from me. I feel like that will happen.
True. Do you think that? So I feel like there should be a transition regardless, because each additional child, it's going to be their first time going through
Yeah.
an addition themselves, and then maybe as they get older, the older child might help with the transition. They might not. It all depends on how they feel about having siblings in general.
I guess I kind of agree, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's going to be the same because at
Yeah.
the same time it's going to be it. They still have an experience being that only child because regardless they still have another sibling, even though that transition of a new child is coming in, they still already had that.
That's true. So from my experience, working in childcare, I've seen a lot of children whose families, like they get them excited about the sibling early, the new addition to the family early,
Mm-hmm.
and get the kids involved to try and help like with that transition. And I've seen it done where it's like they'll come to school and they'll have a little like time to talk about like, hey, this is happening in my household. Mommy and daddy are doing this or so and such, and I'm getting a new sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Just starting the conversations at an age appropriate level to help like ease that transition, regardless of which addition to the family it is. What we typically see in children who are like the only child originally is like they start processing it a little different. So for example, like my husband, he was an only child until his sister was born. And they tell stories all the time of how when he was in school and he found out, he became like very irritated and agitated easily. And so once the quiet kid in school, he was now like fighting kids and just expressing his frustration and trying to process that he was an older sibling. And his mom and teacher talked about it, and they were like, this is normal. This is him trying to get attention because he feels like his attention is going away because of a new addition to the family.
Yeah.
It's trying to get them more connected and realizing it at an earlier stage. That way the kids understand that, no, you're not being replaced. You're not being like removed. Like, we're all going to be here together.
And we're showing them that you're still going to be involved. You're still going to be in the picture. You're still going to get attention that you need. All of that involves.
Absolutely. And parents, you're bringing a new child into your household. How do you do it? We would love to know from firsthand experience what worked for you guys and what did not work when it came to bringing a new child in.
Yeah, we would like to know.
What was that transition like?
Tell us things that made it hard or things that made it easier.
Are there any things that we missed when talking about this? Because we see it a lot from the teaching perspective, since we don't have our own kids yet. So let us know. We want to hear from you guys. Thanks, Villa fam, for tuning in again to another episode with Two Village Girls. Join us every Wednesday for new episodes. If you guys want to learn more about Milestones, check out our blog page, where we will be posting every Wednesday. Please follow us on all our social media, which will be listed in the description box below. As always, we want to send you out with some positive vibes to get you through the rest of your week. This week's inspirational quote is by Orlando Aloysius Batista, who's a Canadian-American chemist and author, who says, "The best inheritance a parent can give his children is a few minutes of his time each day." Thanks, Villa fam. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.